In November of 1932, the Australian military deployed soldiers, machine guns, and thousands of rounds of ammunition against an enemy that had never declared war. They never invaded another country and couldn't, by any legal definition, actually surrender. That enemy was the emu. Within weeks, Parliament was joking that if anyone deserved a medal, it wasn't the soldiers, it was the birds. This is the story of the Emu War, and as ridiculous as it sounds, it's almost entirely true. To understand how it got here, go back a few years. Western Australia's wheat belt was struggling. Thousands of First World War veterans had been settled on farmland under a government resettlement scheme, much of it marginal land, chosen more for availability than for whether it could actually grow anything. Then the Depression hit. Wheat prices collapsed. The government still wanted more grain, with subsidies that rarely showed up on time. For these families, the farm wasn't a business. It was survival. Then came the emus. Every year after breeding season, they migrated inland toward water and feed. In 1932, an estimated 20,000 of them migrated straight into the wheat belt.
The damage was immediate. Trampled crops, broken fences.
Some farmers claimed the birds did more harm with their feet than their beaks ever did. Months of work gone in days.
These are some of the unfortunate farmers whose wheat crops have been trampled down by hordes of emus, but they're hopeful of getting rid of the pest at last. They've never used this sort of scarifier before, but things are desperate, and it's war to a finish this time.
Soldiers fired anyway. Barely any birds went down. 2 days later, Meredith tried again. An ambush near a dam. Over 1,000 emus approaching at once. Exactly the concentrated target the campaign needed. This time, the soldiers waited. Closer. Closer still. The order came. The guns opened up. Then, one of them jammed. By the time it was working again, the flock was gone. 1,000 birds, the best opportunity of the entire campaign, vanished into the bush in seconds. Word spread fast, not because the operation was working, but because it had become a national joke. Newspapers mocked it openly. One member of parliament reportedly said that if medals were being handed out, the emus had earned theirs. After barely a week, the military was pulled out. But the farmers' problem hadn't gone anywhere. Fields kept getting flattened. Fences kept getting broken. This wasn't comedy to the people losing their livelihoods, and the pressure on Canberra didn't stop. On November the 12th, Meredith and his men went back in. This time, they'd learned something. Chasing emus across open ground simply didn't work. Too fast, too scattered, too unpredictable. So Meredith stopped chasing. He staked out water sources instead and let the birds come to him. Unglamorous, far more effective. Over the following weeks, the soldiers reported killing roughly 100 emus a week. It still wasn't enough. This wasn't an organized enemy. It was wildlife spread across hundreds of kilometers. Every flock they cleared, another appeared somewhere else. By December the 10th, it was over. Meredith's official report, nearly 10,000 rounds fired, 986 confirmed kills, roughly 10 bullets per bird. He also claimed another 2,500 emus had likely died later from their wounds, a figure modern historians treat with real skepticism, since there's no reliable way to confirm it, and even if true, it wouldn't have changed the outcome.
against a population near 20,000, the campaign had failed. The government never sent soldiers again. Farmers asked in 1934, 1943, and 1948. Every time, the answer was no.
What worked instead was almost embarrassingly simple. A bounty system paying farmers directly for every emu they culled, and stronger fencing to keep the birds out in the first place. In just 6 months in 1934, farmers claimed more than 57,000 bounties, dwarfing what an entire military campaign with all its machine guns and ammunition had managed in over a month of fighting. Today, the Emu War is remembered as one of history's strangest campaigns, and there's genuine comedy in it. Jammed guns, scattered birds, a major comparing emus to tanks and Zulu warriors, with what sounds like real admiration for an opponent he was sent to eliminate. But underneath the punchline is a more serious story. Struggling farmers during the Depression, trying to protect what little they had left, and a government that reached first for firepower instead of patience. The emu still stands on Australia's coat of arms today, beside the kangaroo. The popular explanation is that neither animal can walk backward, a symbol of a nation that only moves forward. It's a good story. There's no real evidence it's the actual reason, and emus can in fact take a few awkward steps in reverse. Even the small details here resist a clean ending. Nearly a century later, the Emu War survives not because it changed history, but because it's a reminder that history doesn't always move the way you'd expect. Sometimes the most memorable battles aren't fought by empires. Sometimes they're fought in wheat fields against birds. And the birds walk away with the better story.